Our featured artist of the week, our third and final one. He is from Knoxville, Tennessee, so he's our own. This is Ktown, the lyrical musician. You know, he's like a ventriloquist in a way, the way he comes up with his lyrics and everything. He, comes out of thin air and he relates to people, and he's just a badass future hip-hop star. Let's all give a warm welcome to Mr. Ktown. All right, Mr. Ktown, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. That was a hell of an introduction, man.
All right, well, man, you're a hell of an artist, man. Before I even get to my questions, what's the backstory behind Home Sweet Home?
Behind Home Sweet Home? Well, there's a lot of artists with the name Ktown, as I found out. Kansas City, every other city that starts with K. I wanted everybody to know where I'm from, and this is the only home I've ever known, so I figured, why not make a song about it? In the production, filming process of the music video for the song.
And what I love about you doing it about Knoxville is you're like 2 hours away from Nashville. You could have easily said you were from Nashville.
I feel like when it comes to Tennessee, everybody, it's like Memphis and Nashville. Anybody that makes it in the music industry in any kind of small way is always from Memphis or Nashville. You never hear about somebody from Knoxville in Tennessee.
Yeah, and I mean, Knoxville is famous. You know, you do have the Volunteers out there. Well, out here.
Yes, but not for hip-hop, man.
Of course.
Out here that really don't get the recognition they deserve, and y'all are really helping us do that.
Well, exactly. Like, for instance, Dirty D is a hell of a, hip-hop artist out here. Megan Odom is another one. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But what I think separates you is the fact that you're taking rock beats. I'm seeing a lot of times you take rock beats and you're rhyming on it. And that's not easy to do. And there's a lot of artists that stray away from that.
Yeah, well, growing up, my mom, the first rap CD I ever had was 8 Mile, and my mom took it from me as soon as she found out I had it because I was 7 years old. So growing up, it was a lot of acoustic music, it was a lot of rock, it was like Johnny Cash, stuff like that. So yeah, I like a club beat every now and then, but it's harder for me to write to those. So when it comes to like a beat with a nice acoustic guitar on it and still a nice little hip-hop beat going with it, I just get in my zone with them. I can write 3 and 5 songs in a row on those kind of beats.
And I'll tell you one thing, man. You submitted the Home Sweet Home originally, and I absolutely love that song. But what made me, say, hey, this guy is special is when I heard the Gears of War anthem and the fact that you rhymed off that to do your song Hurt.
The Hurt song?
Correct.
Yeah. That song is just amazing. I love the original Johnny Cash version of the song. And I bought that beat because I heard it the first time and I already had the first verse in my head just going and going and going. Because Johnny Cash is just a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't even, know much about, Johnny Cash other than, he's a famous, musician and whatnot. But when it was played on, the commercials for the new Gears of War, which was the Judgment, I was really into it. And then when I seen that somebody, rapped off that, I'm like, wow. So what I noticed is a lot of your lyrics and a lot of what you write is personal experiences. So what gives you the drive to write like that? Kind of like an Eminem-ish.
I said, the first CD I ever had was the 8 Mile soundtrack, and it was Lose Yourself, and I can't remember the name of the track, but the second song on that soundtrack are what sold me on hip-hop. Growing up, I've always listened to Eminem. Recently, all the new people that are coming out that rap kind of like I do, they're what give me the inspiration. Like rapping about my life, it's easy for me. It's hard for me to sit down and write one of those songs that's just getting played in the club over and over again.
So it just comes to you naturally.
Yeah, I mean, there's days where I just get writer's block and want to bang my head against my desk, but for the most part, it does.
Sweet. And what song have you done so far is the most inspirational or touches closest to home to you?
Inspirational, talking about my life, or just in general?
The most, you know, you don't like to play it at a club, but you wrote it because it means so much to you.
The one that I'm really enjoying of mine right now is one that I'm actually not releasing publicly until I get the music video for it done. I just wrote it like a week ago, recorded it 2 days ago. It's called Take My Hand, and it's really a song about helping anybody through, like, that have depression, social anxiety, telling them, don't take that suicidal route, just come with me and I'll help you get through it.
Sweet. Yeah, you know, that's what people need nowadays, a positive role model rather than all this negativity bullshit. So, what was it like on the stage of Club Envy?
Dude, before the show, like when we were backstage giving them our music and stuff, and every artist was just kind of introducing each other to each other, the feeling I had was exactly like the opening scene to 8 Mile. But the DJ there, as soon as I stepped on stage, I was nervous on stage because, like I told you, it's my first show that I ever played. He handed me the mic. He saw I was kind of nervous. He said, talk to him. As soon as he said that, nerves went away. And from what my hype man that was on stage with me said, he thought I became a completely different person. It was the best feeling I've ever had.
That's good. That means, you know, you can make it in this world. I mean, those that, you know, have constant stage fright, good luck with that. Because as a hip-hop artist, I know for a fact everybody will, you know, challenge you around every corner to make sure you're as good as you are.
Yeah, I mean, I was passing out mixtapes all for like 2-3 months in a row here recently. I gave one to some dude at McDonald's, and he tried to put me on the spot, told me, spit a freestyle real quick. I was like, all right. So, yeah, everybody's always trying to challenge anybody that says, oh, you're a rapper? Spit something. Yeah,
spit something, or hey, come battle me, or something like that. I put up with that for years, so. I'm an old hip-hop artist myself, but I haven't done anything in a good 10 years. I think I'm going to do a song in like a month or two, just for shits and giggles, but anyway. This ain't about me, this is about you. So, what was the fans' reactions?
Honestly, when I first stepped on stage, I could tell by the way people were looking at me. I think they were kind of underestimating me because I'm going to say it, I'm overweight and I'm a white kid from Knoxville. I don't think anybody expects me to be able to spit the way I can. But the first song, Feels Like Forever, I saw at least 10 people's eyes widen up like, damn, this dude can actually rap. And Home Sweet Home, when I said the line about Pizza Palace, everybody in the club lost their shit and started laughing their ass off.
Damn.
But the reaction was awesome. When I was walking out of the club, I heard 2 or 3 people, females, yelling, where's Ktown going? He was blah, 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 blah. But I'm not 18, so I had to leave the club.
Damn rules. Well, when do you turn 18, my friend?
I turn 18 March 20th, so
Uh,
I won't even be 18 for the first show of this tour that I'm going on.
Damn.
I'll be 18 for every show after that, but just not the first one.
Well, you know that will be a good moment for you, though. So you did get good reactions while the short time you were on stage, though, correct?
Yeah, I made the most out of that 7-minute set.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, you know. So where do you get your lyrical inspiration from, besides Eminem?
From any genre or from hip hop?
Just in general.
Just in hip hop or in general?
In general.
Well, obviously Eminem is the first one I related to, but writing my first project, the Ktown Chronicles, I was listening to a lot of Mac Miller. The current project I'm working on, I'm listening to a lot of MGK, Yellow Wolf. But just in general, the people who have like inspired me to write my music, because I've been writing music since I was in second grade. Again, Johnny Cash, 50 Cent. I think that was probably the funniest thing ever, me listening to 50 Cent in elementary school. Snoop Dogg, this Cypress Hill, Be Real, Everlast. A lot of the old school is what I listen to, with the exception of like Mac Miller and all them.
So it sounds like you like a lot of the West Coast beats.
I like them for them. I find them kind of hard to write on sometimes.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, no, because you were mentioning the fact that you were a little over average and whatnot. But two of my inspirations, or actually three of my inspirations, were bigger dudes. Bubba Sparks, Big Pun, and then even even lately, Big Smo.
Big Smo kicking in Tennessee is the shit.
Yeah, but I was a huge fan of Bubba Sparks when he first started. So.
Bubba Sparks, I've never really sat down and listened to. I've heard his songs with Haystack, and I can't remember if it was a Jelly Roll song that I heard him on also.
Now you have to listen to his first album. His first album was the shit. But anyway, put yourself in the third person just for a second. How would you describe Ktown?
How would I describe the sound or the person?
How would you describe yourself? Your sound, all about you. What makes you different from every other hip hop artist out there?
My sound, everybody has told me that, like everybody that messaged me on Facebook or people that I talk to, email me, whatever, they're like, I can't really think of who you sound like. And my friends, like my hype man, all them, they're like, well, you kind of sound like Jelly Roll sometimes. And then at work, everybody seems to think I sound like MGK a little bit. But I feel like after Ktown Chronicles, I feel like I'm starting to develop my own sound. I wouldn't really know to say who I sound like, because I sound like myself.
And that's the best. And when it comes to the hip hop world, that's the best. You don't want to sound like anyone. Because the minute you sound like somebody, that you get categorized as, all right, yeah, but we already got one of him.
Yeah, and me as myself, my style, I don't really have Like, when it comes to the music that I listen to, because like I said, 1 minute I can be listening to Eminem, the next minute I can be listening to Marty Robbins, Slipknot, Johnny Cash, and then back to, like, Yellow Wolf.
Now that would be funny. I don't know if you could legally get away with it, but that would be funny. Trying to see if you can come up with the rhyme on top of a Slipknot beat. Even though Corey Taylor does do a little rhyming.
I think I've heard it done on top of the Wait and Bleed beat. I just can't think of when I did.
Well, I know Corey Taylor. He does a little rhyming himself, but still, they do it on like a metal beat.
Favorite rapper was Tech-9.
Well, that's probably why then. You sure know your artist. That's good. All right, so go ahead.
I know my artist. Developing a sound, writing the way I do, just knowing the hip hop culture. It's what I do. I studied it forever. Tech-9, all the artists I listen to, watch interviews, do all that. Finally doing my own interview.
All right, and let's fast forward. Let's say 3 years from now. How would you find yourself successful in 3 years?
In 3 years, I'll still be writing music every single day. Should be in college by then for my music production, so I can get my sound just that much better. Successful, if music actually works out to the point where I can start getting paid for what I do, that'd be awesome, but in all reality, I don't think it'll happen that quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it takes time. Things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. And, I talk to artists all the time, and they all say the same thing, too. Things take time, and it happens like that. So, if you could be on stage with anybody, or open up for any, hip-hop artist out there, who would you want to and why?
Can I pick, like, my top 5? Because that's hard to do for me.
Sure. Who are your top 5?
Well, number 1, obviously, Eminem. I don't care if it's like a 5-minute set, just so I can say I opened for Eminem, because that's who got me in rap. Like, he was really the first hip-hop I was ever exposed to as a kid. It was the edited version of Lose Yourself on the radio, and then it was the uncensored version on that soundtrack that I had. It would be Eminem. Ritz would be awesome to open for. Tech-9, Yellow Wolf. And if at all ever possible, opening for Wu-Tang Clan, I think would be a pretty good time.
Sweet. Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan was huge back up north. I know that for a fact. They sprayed it all over the basketball courts. It was all over the street signs. It was all over the buildings. You couldn't go anywhere, back where I was from, and without knowing who Wu-Tang was, whether you wanted to or not. So, what characteristics do you have that would separate you from today's rapper?
Today's rappers that have already made it, or that are trying to make it?
Either or.
Today's rappers that have already made it, I feel like with rappers or artists in general, they finally realize, hey, I've made it. I'm living the dream. They start to water down what they do, and I don't know if that's the labels doing that to them, or if it's just they're putting in less effort. But I've already told everybody if I ever start doing that, smack me in the face and give me a talking to.
Well,
Everybody trying.
part of the reason, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of these artists that are getting signed, get signed to $50,000 deals, but you got to make 6 albums. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount. And these artists, at the beginning, it's like, yeah, I made all this money. By the 3rd album, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that's why, like, and this is way down the line, if I ever do get to the point where I'm talking to a label, I would much rather go independent labels than major labels.
Yeah, I think that's, today's generation. I really do. Major labels have just screwed so many people, it's not even funny.
The characteristic that separates me from, and I'm not speaking on all artists, I'm speaking on the ones that I've interacted with and the ones that I've only been really pushing this for about 2 years now. The ones that have come and gone right there, I've had moments where I wanted to quit, give up, say fuck it, and just never do it again. As soon as I say that, 2 days later, I'm back to writing. That's one thing. I don't care if I'm that dude that's 40 years old and still trying to be a rapper. I'm never going to stop trying, even if it's just for fun at that point.
Exactly, that's what it's about. It's like, having to drive. The ones that make it are the ones that are like, all right, yeah, I don't have another option. I don't have, you just need the fire, the hunger. But at the same time, you got to be smart. So when I heard that, in 3 years from now, you want to go to college and do music, that's actually the smart route. So you can't really hate on that.
No, that's just the thing. Everybody's like, Jay-Z, probably the biggest known name in hip-hop. He went to college before he put out, I think it was The Blueprint. He made sure he had his shit together before he really tried to make his mark.
Yeah, and you have to. You have to be ready. You have to be aim. But even Jay-Z knows that there's no, the money in the industry isn't really that big. That's why he went from, being an artist to designing his own clothes. Because he knows in clothes there's more money to be made.
Yeah, me and my friends have tried. Like, we've got our little, like, you know how everybody that's coming up, they've got their little label name? Ours is, like, Sun's Fair Entertainment. We've got our logo made up. We're trying to get shirts made and everything, but that's a little expensive.
Yeah, you can only do what you can do. So, is there anything you want anyone to know about you? I'm probably going to cut this interview a little short because it sounds like you may have a cold or you may be, you said you have that video to do and everything.
Oh, no, man, that's just how my voice is. But anything I would want anybody to know about me? The music I make, it's like Jelly Roll says, therapeutic music. I don't make music for critics. I don't make music for clubs or DJs. I make it for me. I make it for people that can relate it to themselves. I don't write a song and think this is going to be a hit. I write a song and analyze it to the point where I'm like, okay, it's going to touch somebody's heart right here.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Chrissy D wanted to, at least tell you about your music.
I definitely listen to your music, and I definitely love it. I think you're very talented. Just keep going at what you're doing, You're a very talented young man. And, I hope to see you, have many, many albums out there one day,
That's awesome to hear from somebody that I don't know.
Well, I have a good question for you, actually. If you had, whether it be a child in the future or even a family member came up to you and said they wanted to join and they wanted to be a rapper or singer or whatever, what would you give them for, no, I messed that up. What would you tell them if they asked you about becoming a rapper or singer or whatever?
What advice would I give to him?
Yes.
If you're just starting out, do not go into it with the attitude of, I'm going to be famous in a year. If you do that, you will be sorely disappointed, and you will probably end up giving up, but that's the only thing you're doing.
That's true, yeah.
The drive, you have to have the drive, the ambition, you have to be able to do everything. You really can't count on anybody unless you've got a whole campus waiting for you to do everything. And I have two people that can't have anything handed to you. You want something the rest.
I don't know.
All right, Ktown, did we lose you?
No? Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
Did I cut off that?
You said you can't have anyone, and then we lost you for a second. All right. You still there, Ktown?
Nothing is going to be handed to you.
No, right. It sounds like you're cutting in and cutting out. I don't know why. All right. All right, Miss Ktown, why don't you try calling back in like a minute?
Alright, man.
I don't know exactly what is going on and whatnot. I do know Ktown is a hell of a artist. What I found out about him today is he's not even 18 yet.
No?
No, he's not 18 to the middle of March.
Wow.
So that is, in itself, that is great in itself, and which is saying he's got a long way to go. He's got a long, successful, career to go and everything, and
I think he'll be very famous.
yeah, I think he's got a really good shot. All right, Mr. Ktown, you back? Mr. Ktown?
You're cutting in and out like crazy, man.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. While you were gone for a minute, we were discussing how you have like a very, long, rewarding career ahead of yourself. The fact that you've done all this and you're not even, 18 yet, and you have so much to grow and everything, and the fact that you can rhyme off these rock beats and different kind of beats really put you in a class above other people.
I never really looked at it like that. I never really considered them rock beats. I just really hear a beat. I like it. I write.
Yeah, but I mean, in this day and age, it's about who can do something different. Because everybody's sick of the same old, same old, same old. Everybody's sampling everything, hip hop. So.
Yeah, and I remember I've always been into music in school. Like, I remember 6th or 7th grade, somebody in my chorus class, it was a required class that we had to. Somebody told me it was a substitute teacher or something like that. They told me, "What kind of music do you like?" I was like, "Rap." They said, "That's not music. That's talking with rhythm." And to this day, I've never heard something more offensive in my life.
Well, I mean, people can be hateful when it comes to rap. I remember my stepfather threw away my, yeah, I know I'm gonna sound old, but my stepfather threw away my Snoop Doggy Dogg cassette tape. When I was a kid. So, and the reason he threw it away because he said it was the devil's music.
I've heard that before. I've had people tell my mother because she's telling people all about my stuff. She's like, "Yeah, my son raps." I heard some guy told her that I was going to go to hell because I rap, and I was like, "Really?"
Yeah, I mean, some people are just ridiculous, though. I have to say that they just are. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's some evangelists out there that say, okay, if you listen to anything but Christian music, you're going to hell. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to hell then. you know. So, but I'm not going to keep you much longer. I'm going to, if anybody's listening, they want to call in, you're welcome to it, 1-855-403-9071. Sometimes people do, sometimes they don't. You're welcome to ask Ktown a question, if you like. So what really got you into hip-hop out of all music?
Hip-hop, to me, I'm going to go to my sports thing, too. Like, I sort of skateboard now. I used to skateboard all the time. Like, it was something you didn't need a whole team to do. You didn't need a coach. You could do it when you want, how you want, any time of day. Hip-hop, I could always put words together. I've always been good with words when it comes to music. I could always sit down and write something. I couldn't always play guitar. I couldn't always do this and this and this. Hip-hop, you don't need a whole band with you. You don't need a guitar. You need your voice, the ability to write, the ability to rhyme, and but just Eminem, I saw him in a video when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was like, this dude is rapping like this, and he's like me. He looks like me. Maybe I can do it too.
Okay. Oh, that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
I was waiting on a punchline.
I've always just gravitated towards hip-hop and hip-hop culture. I've always just liked it. I never really knew why. It was just something I enjoyed.
Well, they do say, rapping some you do and hip-hop some you live. Do you believe in that?
What did you say again?
They do say rap is something you do and hip-hop is something you live. Do you believe in that?
Yeah. I definitely believe in that. Like I told you in the email I sent you, music, and especially hip-hop, has saved my life in more than one way on multiple occasions.
And I was listening to all the songs, and there was quite a few that I heard before. The one that stood out to me, which I'm sure you're not going to want to comment much about it, and that's fine. But the one that stood out for me was the one, where it was the Cleaning Out My Closet remix of Eminem, and you were talking about, your father and whatnot, and it really touched home to me.
Yeah, that song, I've always been a fan of it. And my mother works her ass off. She works 2 jobs, everything like that, everything a single mom's supposed to do. My dad, like I say in the song, he left when I was 2. He ain't never been in my life. And I've always listened to that song and liked it. But growing up, I was always like, man, I wish there was a version for my dad. And writing Ktown Chronicles, I was listening to Cleaning Out My Closet, and I was like, I'm going to make a version. And I wrote that song in like 20 minutes. Just because it was so easy to write. It was everything I've never been able to say to him because he's not here.
Now, but would that be an easy song to perform?
Would it be an easy song to perform? Not. It's not that it wouldn't be an easy song to perform. Just going on stage, the kind of songs like the songs that I played at Envy, they were kind of like club songs, but they also were my style of songs. And I really wouldn't want to play that song because I say GD so much in it, and as offensive as that is to everybody, it's just how I felt when I was writing that song. But if my dad happened to pop up at one of my concerts, yeah, I'd play that.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there. I mean, no. Honestly, my real father, I really never knew but that was not probably due to the same situation. It was due to the fact he was in and out of jails. That was different. My stepfather was the one that raised me, but he told me after 15 years not seeing him, he said, well, hey, Ray, to be honest with you, I didn't even know who you were. So, I mean, and on my 18th birthday, all I wanted was a happy birthday, and God, he'd rather have a street bum as a son, so. I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling. All right, but it sounds like you may have a caller.
Can you hear me? It's really choppy.
All right, is there something you want to say to Ktown?
Well, no, this is one of Ktown's say that everything he said about the music and how we came from the bottom, basically, and our goal is to make positive music. We're here to make music that people can listen to instead of listen to in pop bottles and shit like that. We're here to make music, and it is. Right there.
All right, Ktown, I guess that's one of your homies?
Yeah, that's one of the people that was on stage with me at Envy. And yet he's completely right. That's what we try to do.
Oh, well, here he is. Let's see if we can continue. All right. Why don't you introduce yourself? All right, your boy, why don't you introduce yourself? All right, well, you can introduce him, Mr. Ktown.
The one that just called?
Correct, he's trying to call now, he just can't get through.
His stage name is Ape Shit. Back. That's one of three people. I told you I had a couple people that help, and we're Sunsphere Entertainment, what we try to do.
Okay.
That positive music thing, yeah, that's what we do. We don't make I told you this already, we don't make the club music, we don't make the fuck bitches get money music, we make the, hey, I listen to this and vibe out to it. I don't have to be in a club environment to listen to this. I can just put this on and drive for 10 miles.
Oh, all right, and I'm not sure if your homie knows he's live right now. Yeah, well, he was on, and then he wasn't saying anything, so I had to cut him off. I can't keep on having all that background noise if he ain't gonna speak. All right. So you talked a little bit about how you having positive music, or you have where you can drive down the road. Is that your motive or your ammo to just reinvent today's hip hop music?
What was that? You're very sketchy right now. I can't even hear you.
The positive music is like what I like to make for the people that listen to me that are used. Like I feel like hip hop fans, they're used to the same type of music that they keep hearing on the radio because that's what everybody knows. If you aren't into hip hop, if you're not a hip hop head, all you really hear is what's on the radio. And when I'm sitting down to write music, I've tried to write the club songs and everything like that. It takes me forever to write one because that's not who I am. That's not how I feel. But the ammo and stuff, like when somebody asked me to freestyle, like I did at McDonald's when I was handing out mixtapes, it wasn't really positive. It went some more like a battle type feel. But the songs that I make, I try to keep it to where my listener can just vibe to it. He can relate to it. But on this next project, I'm trying to make a couple club songs just for whenever I do shows.
Oh, awesome. All right, well, it seems like your homie's back. Hey, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, not big shit. I've been with Tom. We're just trying to make some music you can listen to, and basically you can look at the problems here in hip-hop that would evolve to, like, materialism. That's what hip-hop's full of at this moment, and we're trying to take it past to, like, the roots. Like, back with KRS-One with Boogie Down Productions, like, back when hip-hop was meaningful. Like, that's mainly what we're going for.
And that makes a lot of sense. KRS-One, I'm very, home to what he does and everything. And, how he's a teacher and everything. And I understand old school. Old school hip-hop wasn't about, being all negative and shit. It actually had a very positive message. I understand that. So, as far as, like, going that positive, I mean, how far are you willing to take it?
To the point of, why should we have music? We didn't even listen to a verse without hearing full blood or pop bottles, all the things they have. Why can't we take it back? They're inspiring other people to get off their feet and make something of themselves. We can make music to people instead of musically. And I'm not right now with what I do right now.
Yeah. It sounds like you're out in the country somewhere, like back.
McDonald's long got their line. I couldn't miss the interview with Ktown. So.
No, I understand, man. It's always good to support your boy. I truly believe families should stick together.
Yeah.
All right, so you go ahead.
Well, wait. Yeah, another we'd like to say that our logo is basically it's kind of a thing on here. It's in microphone. It's a microphone exposed from the sun's here because it's going to show the music behind Knoxville.
Sweet. And how would you describe your boy Ktown?
What was that?
How would you describe Ktown?
He's dedicated. He's went from the very start, and he hasn't given up. And he's had things thrown in front of him, and he decided to just going. So, I'm always adding new things and gaining. It's basically like he has no reason. If you look at somebody else in their opinion, they'd look at us and say, there's no reason for them to even try. But in his eyes and in our eyes, there is a reason, and we're going to keep going.
Exactly. When you have a cause, then you got fire. When you have fire, you have, a reason to press on.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a fire without somebody to start it. And once it gets going, you have to add more fuel to it, or it's just going to burn out. If you don't add enough fuel, then it's going to burn out too soon, and then you're going to be cold.
There you go. Makes a lot of sense.
That's all I wanted to say. So, that's Dave Ship. I'm signing off.
All right. You have yourself a good night. All right. Anything he said that you want to add to Mr. Ktown?
The Sunsphere thing about how it's going to expose all the artists in Knoxville. What I'm trying to do with the Sunsphere Entertainment thing is, like I said before, there's so much untapped potential in Knoxville that I've gotten to interact with and meet, talk to. There are so many artists that don't get the recognition that they do. And when it starts getting to the point where I can focus on something other than my career and what I'm trying to get myself to, somewhere down the line I'm going to have it to where I can expose all of these other artists that deserve their spot.
So in other words, lay down a foundation to help more artists out in Knoxville.
Yeah, like the way we're looking at it, it's kind of like how Hopton has Funk Volume. We'll have the Sunsphere Entertainment for our city.
Well, that's a good goal, man. A really good goal and everything. All right, man, but, I'm not going to keep you all night and everything. So, you have any last-minute words, and where can people find your music?
Last-minute words. First of all, thank you for even picking my music to play on Reverb Nation, because, believe it or not, right before you picked my music, that was one of those times where I was like, well, maybe this ain't for me, because I kept getting rejection after rejection after rejection. I saw that the 2 Loco Radio accepted me. I was ready to do a damn backflip. I was like, hell yeah. So, number one, thank you for doing what you're doing.
All right, and, not to toot a horn or anything, but to be honest with you, everybody who works for, 2 Loco or is a part of 2 Loco Radio, it actually knows their music. So this isn't just another one of them radio stations where it's like, all right, yeah, I'm just picking somebody just to pick somebody. We constantly listen to music day in, day out, constantly. And if you weren't good, you wouldn't be along the lines of, other talented artists we have picked.
All I can say is thank you, man. And anybody listening or everybody that's going to listen, because I'm probably going to spam everybody with this interview. If you're a fan of mine, I appreciate every single bit of support you give me. SoundCloud.com is where all my music gets posted before I actually make hard copies. On SoundCloud, it's K-Town_. Facebook, you can find me Ktown, or Facebook.com/Ktown865. My Twitter and Instagram are K_Town865. And if you're with me on all my social media, you'll constantly be up to date on my music.
All right, man. And, we wish you a lot of luck. Like I said, in about a month, once, we're feeling better, we'll have you come down to the studio. Maybe you spit some bars and you know, have a good time. Maybe I'll spit some with you.
I'm looking forward to that, man.
All right, man. But hold on, Chrissy, do you want to say something to you?
This is Chrissy D, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to meeting you. Like I said, you are one very talented guy. Keep up the good work, because I love your music.
I don't see myself quitting anytime soon. Thank you for your support.
No problem, and I hope you rock the house down at the NV.
I hope to see y'all there. One more thing, my project that I'm working on. The next mixtape coming up is called Mind Over Matter. I'm constantly writing for it. I don't have a release date yet because I don't put release dates out until the whole album is finished writing. So it was Ktown Chronicles. The next thing is Mind Over Matter, and that is a whole step up from all my old music.
Oh, all right. It sounds like something great to look forward to. You also have some sort of video you're working on or something, or can I not say that?
No, you can. The one I'm working on tonight, tomorrow, however long it takes to get it done, is Home Sweet Home, the one about Knoxville. We're filming all over the city, Fort, Market Square, Old City, Sun Spirit, Pizza Palace, Magnolia, everywhere around Knoxville we're filming for that video. And the upcoming song that I just finished recording, Take My Hand, I don't know when I'll start filming for that video, but it's going to be a hell of a video because it's a hell of a song.
So basically, it's going to be like Maryville City, but for Knoxville.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ktown, it's a pleasure and everything. You have yourself a good weekend, man.
You too, man. I'm looking forward to coming out there.
All right, definitely. I'll keep you posted and let you know when we have free and when we can get this done.
I know.
All right, take care.